Good morning, my name is Boko Uwemidimo, and this is my soul session. When I was a young boy growing up in Lagos, Nigeria, I remember I used to watch Jesus Christ of Nazareth with my grandma. Now, around the time when Jesus was being crucified, my grandma would always cry. And I was 5 years old at the time, and I didn't understand who this man was and what would make my grandma cry. It was such a mystery to me even then. Obviously, growing up and knowing a lot more about his story and all the amazing things he did, like healing the sick, walking on water, feeding a multitude of people, raising the dead, I began to question what moves God? What actually moves God? I make that point because I think of the recent movie Exodus, Gods and Kings, where it touches the story on Moses, where God basically, appears to Moses and says, go and rescue my people from the Pharaoh. And that situation was so bad that it moved God to act. It moved him to bring about a series of plagues upon the Egyptians and the Pharaohs in order to have his people set free. And again, I make that point because I think about some of the things that are going on right now. I think about these young girls in Nigeria who were snatched against their will, who are probably right now going through unimaginable things. Unimaginable things. And I say, what moves God? What does God see that gets to the point that he's like, enough is enough? There's a scripture that says, flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood. And I truly believe change can only come when we begin to see ourselves as family. When we can look at the stranger, we can look at that man, that woman, that boy, that girl, and see them as our own family. This is when change will come. I think of these girls and I know they're no longer in the headlines. I know the media doesn't really address the situation anymore, but a lot more are still missing. And I say this message, I address this message to our president. I address this message to our world leaders. I address this message to those who can act. If it was your child who was missing, if it was your daughter, if it was your son who was taken against their will, you would act. You would rally the troops. You would get into wherever these children are, and you would make sure that you retrieved them. You would make sure that they were home safe. Change can only come when we begin to consider ourselves family. This is my food for thought. This is my soul session. I hope you guys think about it. If you guys can do something, do something. If you can say something, say something. That's how we bring about change. Thank you very much. Have a good day.